Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Very bright light here today on my Facebook Live. Love it. So good to be here with you on Facebook Live Tuesday. This used to be called the More Heart Than Talent Mindset phone call. Then it moved to the More Heart Than Talent Mindset Facebook Live. And now here we are 5 years into Facebook Live. I started Facebook Lives in 2018 and have been here every Tuesday and then most every night. Jeffrey Feldman and Diane, good to see you. Diane, I've been singing your praises to some of my clients who are reaching out to you, who are looking forward to meeting you at Millionaire Blueprint. And Diane, Jeffery Feldman came to Millionaire Blueprint last July. So he has attended, and Diane, you'll be here very soon. Lynn, good to see you this afternoon. Lynn, reach out to Diane. Diane, reach out to Lynn. Diane Hunt is coming to Millionaire Blueprint. So that'll be a great connection for the two of you. Good afternoon, everyone. I saw Bob Campbell on the here this afternoon. Jeffery Feldman, didn't you come to New Jersey to one of Diane's events? I'm almost positive you came to New Jersey back in the day. Tony Kosmiski, good to see you this afternoon. Topic for today's Facebook Live is the science of attraction. Now, you have heard, I'm sure, a few thousand times the law of attraction. Well, I've been covering it as the science because it is a science. There's a skill set to attraction. There is more to it than using affirmations. Affirmations are a component of it, but we will attract to our reality people and situations to fulfill our feelings. For those of you who do attend the Millionaire Blueprint next Friday and Saturday, on Saturday, I will break down in the morning from 9 to 11 what I call the payoff. And the payoff will be we attract to our reality people, situations, and events to fulfill our feelings, and it fulfills the neurochemical craving that we are emotionally addicted to. Trauma bonds and panic patterns, and most frequently we become addicted to being disappointed. And then the lower self, that's the lowercase s, versus the higher case s, the capital S, which is self. The lower self is the anxiety, fear, and doubt, the analytical, egoic mind that analyzes, figures out, processes, thinks, avoids, and procrastinates. That is the lower self. In that lower self, you'll attract your reality, people, and situations to fulfill frustration, disappointment, and especially anxiety, fear, and doubt, which are driven by the emotions of anger, hate, resentment, guilt, shame, abandonment, rejection, overwhelmed feelings, grief, apathy, and pride. I had a coaching session with a client earlier this morning, and he is becoming very clear about how addicted he is in his codependency to his narcissistic family. And he had a major breakthrough and a shift in his consciousness today, and he realizes that he is in a place where he is at a rock bottom, where he is willing to let go of the story and putting his children in front of the grandparents and the other situations and the lies that we tell ourselves to fulfill our low self-esteem. And those emotions are based on guilt and resentment. And as he has a much better boundaries, he's very clear on who he's going to surround himself with, whether it's family or people he went to high school with or whoever it is, but he's developing the emotional clarity to create the boundaries of who he puts his energy in front of. And if we continue to create excuses for people, we continue to stay in dramatic, traumatic, dysfunctional relationships, and then we justify and make excuses for them, then we'll end up attracting similar situations in other areas of our life to fulfill the same set of feelings. And when you move into the breakthrough factor, then you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. Many of you have been following me for years, and so you can say many of my sayings. Josh Waxman has said many of my sayings. Many of you say that the term no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. That is from Louise Hay of Hay House, who coined that term in her first book, the You Can Heal Your Life. And I've been saying that statement since 1989. I bought the book the book was actually sent to me in 1988 when I was still a practicing addict, and I began to use that term in 1989 as I began to learn reflexology, muscle testing, as I learned to quantumly heal. I moved into a much more naturopathic, holistic approach to my diet, my feelings, my life, my health, and then eventually later my wealth. I lived in a lot of force for most of my life and began that breakthrough process in my 36 years of recovery. My 36 years of recovery will be this December 18th, 2023 will be my 36th year. And I asked a woman today, what's your recovery day? And her answer was, well, she didn't know, but today she decided that today was her first day of emotional recovery, of codependent recovery. Now this process will begin a shift and a change in who and what she attracts, because she has clearer boundaries. And the boundaries that we set, and you set them from clarity, not from force. You set your boundaries from being able to be conscious and understand. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some quality time with those of you who come to the Millionaire Blueprint next week, and grateful for those of you who attended this last July and the 2 events previously last year. And I'll be doing more and more events in my own backyard, specifically for my coaching clients, because you are the people, you are the clients who really grasp my teachings and then put them into applications for yourself, and then your life begins to improve, your life begins to change. So if you're going to own a business of influence and affluence, if you're going to build a business with like-minded success seekers, if you're looking to attract people who are going to buy products, services, benefits, and features, if you're looking for people who can join your team, then it's going to be important that you become clear on who is your ideal customer, who's your ideal candidate, who is your ideal teammate, who is your ideal person that you want in your circle of influence. And as you become better at this, that you will begin to change and improve who and what you attract over a higher law of frequency. So it's not the numbers, although there is some chemistry to the numbers, the law of large numbers. Well, it's not a numbers game. It's within the numbers, you become skilled at attracting people of influence and affluence. You become skilled at attracting people that you can collaborate with. You become skilled at attracting people who are in your corner. You become skilled at attracting people who believe what you believe. And you're able to let go of people that you don't want to be in business with, but you can still have a tolerance level with them. The objective is not to be in conflict with someone. The objective is to be able to get along with everyone if possible, but also to have clear boundaries on who you allow in your life. And as your boundaries are clearer, you will improve who and what you attract. Diane, John Collins is reaching out to you. John, also reach out to Lynn. She's on the Facebook Live this afternoon. Kevin Woods is also here. He will be attending his 4th Millionaire Blueprint next weekend in Stockton, California. So those of you who come to my intimate events, it's an event specifically fostered to create that connection, to create the community, to create the collaboration. Whether you're in this business, or you're selling this product or that product, the objective is to create connections of like-minded success seekers, like-minded people of higher consciousness, like-minded people who are in alignment with your beliefs. So as you empower yourself, as you become more skilled at letting go, as you're able to step into your power and let go of not feeling good enough, not feeling capable, less than, should be further along than you should be, as you're able to let go of these feelings of lack, scarcity, poverty consciousness, as you're able to really access your emotional music, as you're able to access your inner wisdom, as you're able to access your inner knowing, then once again, you will no longer be the mind-body connection to the events that shaped your feelings. You're letting go of the trauma bonds, the panic patterns, the neurotic perfectionism that has kept you in constricted. You're letting go of the stories you tell yourself. Krista, good to see you this afternoon. Lori, thank you for joining me. Lynn, always a pleasure to have you here. And Brittany, thank you for joining me as well. The topic for today's Facebook Live is attraction. And attraction is a science. It shows up in dating, mating. It shows up in jobs. It shows up in recruiting, colleges. It shows up in building teams and cultures. It shows up in everywhere of your life, who and what you attract. Now, Diane has dined with me on many occasions. A few of you have dined with me on a few occasions, and I tend to attract outstanding service in every restaurant I dine. I attract top-tier waiters and waitresses. I tend to attract service, great customer service from the hostess, the owners, because I have a purpose when I go someplace. I want to create the best experience possible. I want to meet the best people I can possibly meet, and I want to create the best environment. So I put that into the energy of the whole spirit of the experience, and invariably that will happen. Now, occasionally I'll encounter situations that aren't as favorable, and I've learned to let go easily and effortlessly. I put that in the isolated incident situation, and I don't tell myself that I attracted that unless I actually did. So I don't overthink the situation, because I know there's always going to be a parking space for me. I dined in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on multiple occasions with one of my clients, Pete Tamillo, and Pete would pick me up at the airport in Philadelphia. We would go to Maggiano's downtown on 6th Street, 6th and Filbert Street, and there would be a parking spot invariably right beside the valet parking. Like, the valet parking was here, and there'd be a spot right there. So I have created the outcome through telepathy, through vision, through clarity, through God, through Christ. I mean, I would pave the way for myself through the spiritual laws of truth, through being able to easily and effortlessly let go and create that outcome that was going to be favorable for me. Now, that was not always the case for me. As an angry addict, as an overwhelmed addict, I would oftentimes create the worst case scenario for myself, but there would be those moments and flashes of brilliance where alignment would happen for me, even in addiction. As I became more and more clear and practiced more and more sobriety, the water began to part for me, and I was able to attract to my reality much more favorable situations, especially as I was letting go of the anger family. So the emotions that affected me the most. Good afternoon, Josiah. I want to recognize Josiah Fellaini. Josiah, are you 15 years old? 15 years old? The son of Scott and Shauna Fellaini. His parents are going to be attending Millionaire Blueprint for their second time next week. So everyone say hello to Josiah, 15-year-old Josiah. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Awesome. Both his parents are exceptional entrepreneurs, and one day I will be coaching him. Scott Lucas, always a pleasure to see you, my brother. Love your sobriety, Scott. And Scott, I want to commend you for attracting. I follow you, Scott. I saw that you moved to South Carolina. That is awesome. And your journey, Scott, is amazing. And Diane, remember when Scott was in New York with us back in December of 2019? Wasn't that awesome? He brought me up in the room, put his hands on my shoulder. It was an amazing situation. So Scott, would love to see you at a Millionaire Blueprint someday. Breathe, release, and let go. No longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. How do I improve who and what I attract? Well, the first situation is you believe you can. You believe that you can attract a producer, a teammate. You believe that you can attract a customer that will refer you clients. It starts with belief. That means your sense of certainty. You believe that in certainty, you move into a state of knowing. You know that you're capable. If you have a job that you dislike and it's soul sucking, like some of you experience, you know that you can leave that job. Diane Hunt is going to share part of her journey in my Millionaire Blueprint. She left the medical community to find her peace. She was from Long Island, New Jersey, and took her family to a small ski town in Utah. I mean, how does this happen? It happens by the vision. The term put it out there. Well, there's more to it than putting it out there, but you put it out there with a commitment. There's a difference between an intention and a commitment. An intention is the beginning, that's the nucleus, but the commitment is the follow-through, the plan of action that creates the reality. And I was integral in that situation, assisting Diane to really begin to formulate that vision of where do you want to live? What do you commit to? When will you move? What do you see in your future? How long is this going to take you? What would it take for you to put your house on the market? Can you persuade your husband? How about your children? Will your children participate in this vision, this dream? What is your why? Why do you want to leave? Why do you want to move from New Jersey? What is the outcome you seek to create? These are the questions you begin to ask yourself that you formulate to be able to create your skills of attraction. Attraction is a skill. There's a little bit of luck involved. A blind squirrel can find a nut. You can trip into anything at some point. I have sat on airplanes next to some of those influential, affluential people that I could have ever imagined. I've sat next to music stars. I've sat next to athletes. I've sat next to multiple people, multiple business owners, writers, exceptional people from multiple walks of life, and had fascinating conversation. It's also important that you become, instead of a people pleaser, you become a people person, that you are personable, that you have energy that's conducive to attracting with people, that love and joy come from your heart, that you're able to be in a relaxed body. You're not worried about the outcome that hasn't happened. Many people will talk themselves out of going to a 12-step meeting or recovery meeting or a group or a culture of empowerment because they're afraid that people are going to find out about them. That's just a story. Or they'll have a story that'll rob them of the experience, or rob them of the opportunity of being able to be part of the culture. Well, I'm not like those people. Well, I'm not good at sharing. This is how people will talk themselves out of other like-minded success seekers. And those are the people that you absolutely should be attracting because they're in alignment with their sobriety. They're putting energy and effort into letting go. They're surrendering to their higher power, which many choose to call God. They're letting go of the trauma bonds, the panic patterns, the people-pleasing tendencies, the codependency, the chronic debting, the insane behavior, the pinball machine that goes off in their head that says, I'm crazy, when in reality you have brain fog because you're holding on to trauma bonds and panic patterns that are repressed from unresolved issues that you will continue to create to attract the same situation to fulfill the same disappointment. When you learn the mechanism of letting go, when you begin to master letting go, which is an absolute skill, letting go is the key to improving, changing who and what you attract. Because in this process, as you're in this flow state, you will begin to attract higher conscious people, and then the term they show up begins to have meaning. They show up. The parking space is available, the personal waitress shows up, the owner comps your check, you get free tickets to a concert, someone gives them to you. I went to a Los Angeles Dodger game now this has happened to me multiple times. I went to a Los Angeles Dodger game in 1986, and I was going to buy a ticket from Ticketron from the LA Times back in the day. John Collins would know what this means. I was going to buy a ticket from Ticketron, and Fernando Valenzuela, Freddie, that's what they called him, Fernando Valenzuela, was pitching that night against the San Diego Padres. Now, when Valenzuela pitched in the 80s, it was a sellout. So I went to a Dodger game, no ticket. I was going to buy a $171 ticket. I went to a Dodger game, no ticket, and I knew I'd get some. I was going to buy a box seat from a scalper. So I went to the game, parked in the parking lot, went early, went up to the gates, and I saw a guy I played high school baseball with. His name was Danny Stipe. He was from Clarinda, Iowa. He was from a rival team of mine. I actually grew up in the school district, but my parents made me go to another school. There was Danny Stipe. He was 1 year older than me. He graduated in 1974. He was a pitcher. I went 3 for 4 off of him on baseball day back in July of 1974 when he was a senior. We lost 2-1 in 14 innings. I remember the whole history. Of all the people to see in Chevis Ravine, LA Stadium, Dodger Stadium, here I am from a small town in Iowa. Here Danny Stipe from a small town in Iowa. And Danny Stipe had a box seat, and he gave me that ticket. I mean, that happens to me all the time. That was in the summer of 1986. That happens to me frequently because I believe that happens to me frequently, and I attract to my reality exceptional experiences like that, and so can you. That's not luck. That's called synchronicity. And the highest level of that is called synchrodestiny. When there are no accidents, that's when God winks. That's when you are in alignment. That's when you are the conduit. You are the light. You are the match that puts out the darkness. You walk into the room and you are the light. See, in that level of attraction, you will change who and what you attract. You've heard the term move mountains. Well, this is when people come together and they're of like mind. They come together from purpose. They come together from cause. They come together from meaning. And this is how cultures are created that fosters change. In the trauma-based mind control that we have experienced for the last however many years and the escalation of it in the last 4 years, it's your responsibility to be that light in the darkness. You walk into the room and you light the match. You become responsible. Instead of avoiding your responsibility, you step up to the plate. You step up to the podium. You step up on the stage. You step up in consciousness because you are no longer in scarcity. You are no longer in poverty consciousness. You are no longer worried about the outcome that hasn't happened because you know that you have a purpose. One of my friends said to me when I was at rock bottom financially, he said to me, Jeff, God has a plan for you. Don't throw in the towel. God has a plan for you. I'll never forget that. His name was David Brennan. I took him to his very first AA meeting. I bailed him out of jail at Luz Terrace Jail in Dallas, Texas, in October of 1993. I took him to his very first AA meeting in Addison, Texas. I told him that if I'm bailing you out, you're going to a meeting with me. And I took him to his very first meeting, and he never drank again. I mean, what an amazing story. I mean, that was, just think how many years ago that was. It was actually 1995. It was July of 1995. I think that's 28 years of sobriety. It's an amazing story. And took him to his very first meeting, and he never, see, that could be you. That when you light that match in the darkness, you are the light. My name is Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. For those of you on today's Facebook Live, Chad, good to see you this afternoon. Good to see all of you. Dennis, good to see you this afternoon. Who else did I not say hello to? Pamela, thank you for joining me. Farzad, always good to see you. Good to see all of you here. If you've not sent me a friend request, feel free to send me a friend request. I will accept. I do offer free 20-minute coaching sessions if you have ever considered hiring me. And there is no obligation to hire me. If you do the 20-minute coaching session, feel free to reach out to me. I would be honored to speak to you. I'll be back here tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific. It is 2 for Tuesday. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Good to see you. Good day and goodbye.